everybody, and welcome to the grand finals of the United Hearthstone League. We have Ridiculous Hat versus Spyvrr in what looks to be one of the most exciting matches of the season. I am Wicked Good from Off Curve. I am here with my friend Bodicus from Coin Conceit. How you doing, Bot?
Doing great. Really excited about this matchup. Couldn't have asked for a better finals. Ridiculous Hat from, of course, my podcast. I'll try to be as unbiased as possible going into this, and if there's anybody that I can be unbiased for, it's definitely Spivey. Just a really good friend of mine. I met him at BlizzCon. Really excited to see these two duke it out for the season one champion.
Yeah, both great members of the community, both great people, both very cool, very fun people, and I am really excited to see what they've brought. And so, if this is your first time watching the UHL, the format of the playoffs is a little bit different. So, all 9 classes are going to be represented. The players have done a draft where each one has picked one class that they're going to play. So and then the one class that wasn't picked, both players will have to bring. So we are looking at Ridiculous Hat has Warlock, Paladin, Druid, Hunter, and Shaman. Spivey has Priest, Mage, Rogue, Warrior, and Shaman. And this is a best of 9 Conquest, no ban. So each player will have to win with all 5 of the decks that they have brought today.
Yeah,
So
I was going over. I was kind of thinking in my head how I think the pick order would go. So it looks like Hat led off with Warlock, very obvious choice. Just probably the strongest class right now, one of the most banned classes in all tournament lineups. A natural follow-up pick to that, I think, is Priest, which is what Spivey went for, and it's probably your best bet against the most of the Warlock decks, which then Hat follows up with Paladin, one of the better classes against Priest, and then it starts to get a little muddy from there. Then Spivey picks Mage, obviously a great choice against Warlock. Kind of questionable matchup against most Paladin decks, but I think overall definitely the fourth best class to be able to pick. And then Hat goes with Druid afterwards. Um, uh, Seems solid to me. Kind of surprised that wasn't a rogue pick, knowing how ridiculous Hat likes to play. But Druid definitely seems very solid there. And then we go rogue for Spivey, leaving Hat able to pick up the hunter. And Spivey actually a pretty interesting pick here. He picks warrior over shaman. What do you think about picking the warrior so that they both have to be playing shaman?
So I wonder how much of this has to do with Spivey's win over Rod Johnson last night, because he did have a really impressive performance with that taunt warrior. He was able to take out a warlock, which is we don't really have data, but I would imagine that's an unfavored matchup. And maybe he's feeling really good about that deck and he wants to try to bring it again, or maybe he has another idea. We've seen a couple of different takes on warrior over this tournament. Maybe he's got something up his sleeve. And Shaman is not, I mean, there are other ways to play Shaman that have been viable since the nerf, but not really, none of them have really taken off. So maybe he feels like he's better off having Hat have to play Shaman rather than giving him a chance to pull out a win with a control warrior.
Yeah, I mean, the win that he had over Rod Johnson yesterday in that final game was pretty spectacular. Make sure after this is over, if you guys haven't seen it already, make sure you check out that game. It was super back and forth, and really didn't know who was going to win until the last like turn or two. It was real crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, it did help with the dirty rat into the Nazoth was pretty clutch, but even without that, he was in it. He was more in that game than I would have expected, given how the Taunt Warriors hero power lines up against the Warlock. But he was able to pull that game out, so maybe he's feeling really good about that. I'm not. It's hard to say, and we may see some surprises. I would imagine we'd probably see some fairly similar decks to what we saw yesterday, given that the players really haven't had a whole lot of time to adjust lineups. Uh,
Yeah, I think that's a smart for them to kind of just play what they're familiar with. You don't want to be going too crazy with, trying to pull out something completely different than that you may not be used to and might make a couple misplays or something. So
Yeah.
I have a feeling we'll be seeing some fairly similar things, but you kind of never know. These guys have prepared a lot in previous weeks, so maybe there was something that they were saving in case they made it to the finals.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that might be is that, Spivey might have felt like the shaman did get a really good draw in that one game. Maybe he felt that was a little bit more related to draw RNG, and that the Warriors seemed to perform really well even in the games where it didn't win. It was pretty good. So maybe just, stick with the one that he feels better about, and if he's going to have to play them both anyway, you know, it's it's hard to do. It's hard to get in their minds with a really unique format like this too. Like neither of us has obviously played in a format like this. There's a lot of different things going into it. Um, but I'm really, really excited for what we're about to see. So,
Spivey also might be thinking that since Hat did not play Shaman uh, yesterday, that maybe he doesn't have a Shaman deck that he has prepared and he'll be comfortable playing. So that
yeah.
that could play into Spivey's plan, into just making sure that Hat is kind of thrown off as much as possible.
Yeah. So we're about to get into the game. We should just make sure to mention that we're going to have an interview with both players at the end of the match. So stick around for that as well. And there will be a special announcement at the end of that. But I think that we are about to get into the first game. So we will be getting into that as soon as they get started, and then we'll see so what would you start with for each player while we're waiting to get into this?
So something I noticed yesterday is whoever had the Warlock was waiting for it. Like they were holding off on pulling out the Warlock until they had a couple of their other classes locked up.
Mm,
So if I'm looking at Hat's lineup, I'm thinking a decent lead would be Paladin. It looks like it lines up against most of what Spivey has pretty well. I think it's good against Priest, it's good against Mage, it's good against Rogue, and I think it's somewhat unlikely to that Spivey pulls out the Warrior or Shaman first. But in terms of what Spivey could bring out, Shaman actually doesn't look that bad. Mage also pretty solid. I'm gonna.
yeah, and I wonder if Hat would actually start with the Warlock, knowing that Spivey has that priest that's really well lined up. I would expect that that's probably what he's bringing again, and he knows that that's a deck that really wants to get that matchup with the Warlock, and maybe he can try to get it out ahead so he's not allowing him to queue in. But it looks like we have started getting into the game, and Spivey is going to be starting out on the Rogue, which appears to be a Miracle Rogue, and
Okay.
and then Hat is on the Druid.
Yeah,
And
and looks like Hat's playing a Cthulhu Druid, something that we've actually seen quite a bit from these competitors over the past couple days. It's a very has been brought very commonly.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
uh,
And he's got ramp, he's got Cthulhu cards in his hand. Hat does. He's got a 6-mana taunt, which is what you want to get. I mean, the only thing he's missing is a Prince Calistath, but other than that, this is the kind of hand that you want to have as the Spiteful Cthulhu Druid. Just starting up, try to ramp into the UI when it comes.
so have you
And
you played a bit of the Spiteful Druid? Did you play much with it with Cthulhu in it?
I did a little bit last season, and it's again, like we talked about the Cthulhu Warrior in yesterday's match. It's the same type of thing. The Cthulhu is a good win condition, but it has to hit the right matchup.
Mhm.
The one thing that Cthulhu does in this deck is when you do pull Spiteful Summoner out, sometimes you get a Cthulhu and it's a 6/6 and that's a low roll. In this deck is actually a high roll because Cthulhu's going to come out to whatever you buffed him to. So that
Interesting.
that
Okay.
makes the Spiteful Summoner a little bit more consistent.
So have you played against Miracle Rogue at all with with I mean this can't be like a commonly seen matchup. I
No,
have
this
to
is
assume.
not maybe at the ranked floor, but this is not a matchup I'm used to seeing. And both auctioneers in Spivey's hand right now will make this very interesting in a couple of turns. And we've already gotten the spiders loaded up into the deck for that. And
Ooh.
oh, Hat's going for a
Interesting
2/2.
choice. Okay. I kind of
Normally
like
you're
this. I mean,
yeah,
you're not really needing to ramp into a UI since it's not in your hand and you have a play on turns 6, 7, and 8. So
yeah,
this makes a lot of sense to me. You just get the 2/2 out there so that most likely Spivey's going to be trading this 4/4 into the 3/4 and then you can
yeah,
just bump it with the 2/2 since your mana's tied up
yeah.
uh for quite a few turns.
We're using the counterfeit coin to get the Elven Minstrel out. Normally, which is an interesting choice with both gadgets and auctioneers in hand.
It kind of makes sense to me. I mean, you do need to start clearing up some of these creatures on the board. Hopefully
Yeah,
you're going to draw into a prep by thinning out some of the creatures from your deck. So
yeah,
I kind of don't hate this, but Hat
yeah.
just plays a very large minion,
Oh
and
wow, that Shadow
ooh,
Step is clutch though, because that the Vile Spine Slayer cleans up this 5/7 really well, but without any sort of an activator, he's gonna have a trouble getting through it. I'm not sure if that's what he's looking to do, but that is an option if he so chooses. And looks like we're gonna play the Strider,
okay. So
get more spiders in.
setting up for a potentially very big auctioneer turn next
Oh,
turn. Oh
we're just going
wow.
all in on the spiders. This is gonna be like a full-on arachnophobia by the time we're done with this.
Okay, so I see what he's doing. He's planning on next turn going Vilespine Slayer with the Faldori Strider as the combo enabler, and
Yeah.
then hopefully draw into like a prep or something. If he draws into a prep with this Fan of Knives, then there's going to be so many 4/4 spiders on the board. It's going to
Yeah.
be real tough for Het to deal with all of that.
Yeah, the one thing that I found that can be a bit of a, you can almost go too far with the spiders sometimes because then you end up filling up your board and you don't have room for things like the Vile Spine Slayer if you start. I mean, that's probably a good problem to have,
Yeah.
I would guess, but you do end up kind of burning some spiders and losing out on some value. And that said, the Cthulhu Druid really does not have any way to deal with that. Like if you're talking about playing against a priest, it's a bad idea because Dragonfire Potion just clears the whole thing up. Cthulhu Druid really has it can get rid of one spider, but a whole colony of them is going to be a problem. So it
Yeah.
looks like we're taking out one of these poison spiders with the minstrel leaving the other one up to remove another one of these minions, and we'll remove the Vilespine Slayer to take away any future Shadow Step value. And then
Yeah, pretty
the
heads up play by
Doomcaller.
Hat
Yeah.
choosing poisonous spiders so that if Spivey would have gotten a bunch of 4/4 spiders, he would have been able to at least kind of keep control of this board. He just needs a little bit longer to be able to use this UI, and Cthulhu is I think is pretty likely to end the game with given that Spivey's life total is already down to 16.
Yeah, Thune at a 13-13 right now, and Gadgets and Auctioneer coming up, but
Oof.
no spells to get any value, but not a huge deal given that he's got the second one in the hand. So, it's not a bad idea to play the tempo Auctioneer here. Gonna get this Cthulhu up to 15-15 with the Cthulhu's chosen. And, I guess 16-16 with the Twilight Elder, trade off the
Yep.
4/4.
That's going to be
And
pretty big, and the fact that Spivey has not hit one of his 9 spiders yet is
yeah,
pretty unfortunate, actually. And he's already down to 13. Another turn with no
yeah.
spiders. This
And
looks
this
like
Van
it's probably going
Cleef.
to have to be
Yeah,
an
or
auctioneer
or we're using
plus
Leroy to
fan of
trade
knives.
maybe. Leroy Fan of Knives to trade would at least get rid of this 7/5.
Well, we could
And
also
probably
just go like auctioneer fan of knives and then trade our
yeah,
4/4 into the 7/5. We're pretty
yeah,
likely to get at least a couple spiders because we're going to get 2 draws from the fan.
yeah,
Maybe he's looking at just controlling the board a bit more. He could go like fan SI7 the 4/2 and
yeah.
Van Cleef gets you a pretty big board presence.
Well, it
But
looks
this
like
makes
we're
a lot
on
of
the
sense too.
Leroy trade plan. That does get us a couple of spiders. That's
Ooh,
good. Wow.
3 spiders.
Ooh,
That
and
is
a sap, but we
all of
can't
a
use the
sudden
sap this turn.
that is a very, very scary board state right
Yeah.
now.
And the Cthulhu Druid really cannot deal with this. And now it's a question of how we clean up the rest of this board, taking off the two scary minions, just leaving a 4/2 to contend with this 4/1 and 3/4/4 spiders. Spiteful Summoner can help, Ultimate Infestation can help, and that's a lot of decent life total. So, but 16 damage is a lot to stay down. Oh, we're going face with the Ultimate Infestation, it looks like.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
necessarily hate it. Spivey doesn't have a good way to deal with this 4-2 without trading something into it. And
Yeah.
being at 4 life means that Hat just needs the second ultimate infestation
Yeah.
and
Or
he
Cthulhu, which just came
wins.
into the hand. Depending
Yeah,
on
I
how many
mean,
of these get
Cthulhu
traded off,
is
Cthulhu could just end the game right here.
it very well could.
Oh, this
But
is
I mean, that's a lot of spiders.
yeah. So we're getting Lunar Vision, Starfire, or Ixalan Fungal Lord. These are not what 5e wants to see off of this hallucination. None of these can be played this turn with the preparation.
Yeah.
He's gonna
I
take the
mean, we do
Starfire.
have a backstab, so maybe we
Yeah.
backstab into prep and prep the Starfire.
Or Counterfeit Coin helps.
Counterfeit coin.
Could sap the 5/5 also to just get that off the board. Put as many bodies in the way of all those Cthulhu shots as possible.
Okay.
Or
Or
it
he
could
just
trade off
plays
with the SI
with
works
the
too.
SI. Yeah.
And then that leaves him you can still play the counterfeit coin if he wants to. He can more likely hold it for next turn. And then
Oh
that's gonna be
man,
16 damage coming
that is
in.
a lot of damage.
And this is the problem with Cthulhu is that it really doesn't clear this board off. So we're gonna see
So,
Kun the Forgotten King first.
yep,
Knows
Kun.
not to.
And then
Maybe a
maybe
mind
we
control
play
tech?
like mind control tech and hit face with our hero power.
Or we're
Oh,
just
he
going
goes
in.
for the Cthulhu.
Only 4 of those 16 need to hit face. There's
1,
1,
2,
2,
3.
3.
Oh,
Oh, we
and
got it. Wow.
there it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Good recognition by Hat there, saying that he only needed to get 25% of those shots to hit face, and he probably was not clearing off the board otherwise. So we got to see a Cthulhu lethal with our first match, and we're going to be taking a quick break after this game to clean up the overlay a little bit. After this game, Spivey will be on the bottom and Hat will be on the top. So just bear with us for a second.
Oh,
And
so we were inverted.
yeah. I mean, I'm always kind of a little bit upside down, so you know it's normal for me. But so now we've seen that that's the Miracle Rogue for Spivey, and still has all of his classes remaining. The Druid is gone for Ridiculous Hat. So knowing that there's a Miracle Rogue in here, you know, I mean, I would imagine that a lot of these classes, other than the Control Warlock, maybe are going to line up fairly well with that Miracle Rogue.
Yeah. I mean, Miracle Rogue is really good against Warlock if you're able to get it. But
That's
this
a good card
matchup,
against Squid Lords. But and Spivey's going right back to the Miracle Rogue, and looks like Hat is on the Spell Hunter. And we're seeing that he has a Wandering Monster, a Deathstalker Rexstar, and a Flanking Strike to choose from. Keeping the Faldorei Strider along with the rest of a stereotypical rogue hand for Spivey. And Barnes in hand for Hat is going to be a problem if Spivey doesn't pick up Sap. 2 backstabs, 2 shadow steps, and a Faldorei Strider are not. Oh no! And Hat draws the Yashiraj.
oh man,
chance.
I thought we were gonna have a repeat of yesterday.
Yeah. So well, we did get the Sap in the hand. So you know, if the worst did happen, Spivey was going to be able to answer that. But you know, doesn't have to worry about it for another 7 turns or so now. So get a Thalnos to go along with this hand. Potential for coining out the Faldorei Strider with all of these 0-cost cards may be a consideration, just to get something on board. Oh, that does risk tripping the cat trick too. So we're gonna attack in, see that it's not Explosive Trap or Wandering Monster, and then we're going to just dagger up and pass. So Wandering Monster does come down. We have well, the good news is that Hat's picked up the Rockdalar and he's got both minions in his hand, so at least he can activate that when he chooses to. Going face with the bow, and then there do start the Spider Train, another 0-cost card with no Auctioneer and no combo cards in hand for Spivey. But as soon as he gets one, this auctioneer is going to be lit. Oh,
Sorry, I'm
it's
trying to
yeah,
get the spec going again
no problem. So we
because
get
it
it. We
wasn't
get a
letting me.
spider right off the bat for Spivey, and there comes the auctioneer. We're gonna trigger the wandering monster. Going, oh, that's a harvest golem, which is gonna leave a
Okay.
2/1 behind. You can clear that up with the dagger, and we're going to shadow step the spider, and we'll see if we play that again. We are going to play that again this turn. Triggers the cat trick,
Oh man,
and
and that's a lot of damage from that eagle horn bow.
yeah, and no taunts in this deck. No ways to heal, just spiders for days. Going face with the weapon once again, but this auctioneer is gonna do some damage. And it's probably going to summon a lot of spiders, and it's a heads up play from Spivey getting more spiders in the deck with at least 4 draws off of this Gadget Set Auctioneer before we even get into whatever he pulls out of the deck.
But look at the damage Hat's already putting
Yeah,
out. Spivey's
this is
down
adding
to
quickly.
13. He's gonna have to be defensive here.
Yeah, well, he does have a sap. He has a backstab. He can clean up these minions on board just with what he has in hand right now. He has a coin. He can, he has a prep. He can prep sap. He can backstab the 5/2. We are going to see the auctioneer come down.
Yeah,
So let's see how it
auctioneer's
goes.
backstab
Yeah,
prep sap seems like a really solid
yeah.
solid set of plays.
So we'll see how he proceeds from here. We're going to coin first so that we can hallucination at some point. There's another
Ooh,
spider.
another
Spider
spider.
number 2, a counterfeit coin is good too.
You could hallucinate here.
Yeah.
I think you just want to load up. Well, so the
You
thing you
could
do
shadow
have to
step
worry
the
about
yeah.
is a card like Unleash the Hounds. If Hat is playing a copy of Unleash the Hounds, you really don't want to get too many of your spiders out
Yeah.
because you might have issues
Yeah,
with
though
all
I
of
imagine
those.
that if Unleash the Hounds comes out anyway, he's already worrying about kill command and he's probably in big trouble anyway. This
Oh man.
eviscerate's going to help though. He is going to go and just load up on the spiders, see if he prep eviscerates as well. This is going to be I was going to leave the
Okay.
prep eviscerate for next turn, along with the Edwin that could come down. So Hat's going to tracking. Unfortunately,
Needs to
no,
try
we
to
can't
find
see.
something that
Yep.
he can end the game
Yeah.
at the latest next turn.
I'm just going to roll again. It looks like Cat Trick and Spellstone are not what he needs right now. Explosive Trap, maybe. Flanking Strike is not quite enough. Though Explosive Trap will at least power up that Spellstone that's in his hand. That is what he's going to go with. He could use a Hunter's Mark on the Auctioneer, and Explosive Trap will clean that up eventually. But it looks like he's not going to. Is he going to attack face? He's
Yeah.
just going face. He's going to let the Explosive Trap
So
clean that up.
So now all he needs 1 damage.
So
Or
he's
no, he needs 1 damage because he
yeah.
can't play Rockdalar
Well,
and Hero Power in the
Well,
same
if
turn.
he triggers the explosive trap though, then the Rockdalar and the hero power, but yeah, he needs one more mana to be able to do that. You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Ooh, that's a
That
Leroy.
Leroy.
So we got 12 damage.
We're
I
going in with the
think
Eviscerate first.
that's gonna be lethal because he can
Yeah.
attack with the Auctioneer first, see that it's explosive trap, and then play
Yep.
Leroy, and that's gonna
That'll be
be
it. Yeah.
game 2 going to
Wow.
Spivey.
Yep. That's gonna be 12 going in, and that Leroy pickup was very clutch. Wow. But that was close.
That was quite close. I think that obviously the Hat drawing the Yasiraj was a pretty big
Yeah.
reason why he had issues that game, but I mean that's kind of what you get. You're playing
Yep.
with fire when you're playing Barnes and
Yep.
Yasiraj as your only 2 creatures in your deck.
I mean, when you play a Barnes deck, that's the risk that you run, is that sometimes Barnes is going to come up short sometimes, and unfortunately, just drawing that Ashraj in the first couple of draws was just unfortunate, and that led to a much slower game from Hat. So we're going to see what Warrior Spivey brought, and we are going back to the Taunt Warrior from yesterday for Spivey against Hat, which looked like he's being involved Sean with the 2 doppelgangsters and Thrall Death Stare in the hand, which would be great if he had 10 mana, but maybe not what you want to see in your first 3 cards.
Sorry, I'm trying to fix things. For some reason, the spectating is bugging, and I can't see. I
Okay.
can't see Hat's hand when I'm spectating.
Okay.
So, all
So
right,
and
trying to
and
load this up again
Hat's
and
gonna
see
throw
if I
away his
can fix
entire
it.
hand. It looks like Spivey's gonna keep all of his with the Quest, Dry Whisker Armorer, or Stillhill Defender, and a Blood Razor. No play for Hat turn 1. We're just gonna see the Quest come out. and the emote. uh, okay, so Totem Pass from Hat. So Hero Power Pass from Spivey.
Yeah, you're gonna have to tell me
Yep.
what's in Hat's hand because
Yep.
for some reason all I can see is the backs of his cards. It's actually funny that I just tried to spectate him
Yeah.
and it turned the cards around so I would be able to read them, but it didn't turn the cards face up.
Oh, that's not good. Maybe we'll have you
Like I
quit out
literally
after this game or something. But
well,
so
I've already done it like 3
okay.
times.
Okay, so has a Primal Fin Totem, a Devolve, a Jade Claws, a Tar Creeper, a Bloodlust, and a Jade Lightning, and just picked up an Evolve. So Spivey deciding to go with the Saronite Chain Gang off of the Stonehill, which is a fair choice given that he didn't have a good turn 4 other than the Blood Raider. Though with this Primal Fin come down, he may decide that that's the way he wants to go anyway. Because trading into one of those trading the Stonehill into the taunt, or he's going to go and gain a heck of a lot of armor with this Dry Whisker armor instead, which is much better play.
Ooh, and this mind control tech's gonna be huge
Oh wow,
potentially.
he's already saw him roll big yesterday.
Oh
That's
man.
probably the best draw. I mean, it's a little bit of a toss up between that and the Manatide, but that certainly cuts down on the minion generation. Hat picking up a Manatide totem. Uh,
Yeah, Hat really wishes he had like a devolve plus Maelstrom portal here.
Yeah, if he can roll spell power, well, he does have the Maelstrom portal in hand, but it doesn't really do a whole lot against this board right now with that 1/4 in the way.
And the thing is like even though that was a great pickup for Spivey getting to pull the Primal Fin totem, Hat still has this Manatide totem going,
Yeah,
which I mean, one of the biggest issues with Shaman is just that its card draw is so lackluster. But now that this Manatide totem's already gotten 2 draws from it, and looking like it's likely to get another one,
yeah.
uh, we'll see
So
kind
this
of
is gonna get
how.
cleaned up right here. That's gonna do a lot of damage to the board, and then probably should let him shoot through this taunt and then get through to the Manatide and shut that card draw down.
Okay.
Yeah. Taking out the spell damage totem before the healing totem heals it back up is very smart. And then another devolve coming into hand for Hat.
Ooh,
This
need
doesn't
spell
really
power
seem like,
here. Ooh,
yeah, not gonna
okay.
get it. And the Jade Claws comes down, and then gonna take the 2 health off of the taunt. Gonna Maelstrom Portal to clean up a little bit more of this board, but that Primal Fin Totem is still sitting there.
Yeah, I mean, so has is it an unstable evolution? Just 2
Yes.
unstable evolutions in hand, or is it
He
1?
has 1 Evolve and 1 Unstable Evolution in hand.
Okay, so uh he's not in a great spot at this moment, but he is basically one doppelgangster away uh
Yeah,
from,
just going ham. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so pulling out the Manatide and then immediately killing it along with the rest of the board with the weapon, leaving up the healing totem, but that's not really a threat, and then putting down another wall of taunts and advancing that quest a little bit further up to 3 ticks off the quest. Hat does pick up another Primal Fin totem. That's going to start getting less and less valuable as we get further into this game, especially when Scorched Short Garrosh comes down. Because then that will just clean up whatever they put down every turn. Thinking about a Jade Lightning against this Dirty Rat, along with the totem, presumably to clean it up. We're going to evolve first, and that's a
Not a
pretty
bad
good
devolve.
devolve.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good devolve result.
Your Primal Fin totem is actually protected here.
Yeah,
With what's on board, obviously there's plenty. You don't love to see the 1/5 because it kind of deals with these 1/1s really well, but
yeah. And I don't know that Spivey has anything that does end of turn effects. I don't think so.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect him to, but
No.
Primordial Drake is just kind of a huge card against Shaman in
Yeah.
general. Hat really needs to pick up something like Doppelgangster soon, or these taunts are just going to be too much
Yeah.
for him to deal with. And if you just look at Spivey's health total, Hat's basically done no damage all game to him.
Yeah.
He's already at,
Up to 49 health, and this Dry
yeah.
Whisker Armorer next turn could make that even more. Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, Hat's win condition is really just going to be Big Board and Bloodlust, and that's not been an option up until now. So it looks like we're going to try to build back up with the Aya, get a
Okay.
2/2 Jade, and the 5/3 that will also leave behind a 3/3. So
That's
starting to build back
basically
up.
basically the next best draw to a doppelgangster. I
Yeah,
mean,
this
this
Drake
primordial
though.
drake kind of ruins all of that, but
Yeah,
uh had still like a doppelgangster or maybe
yeah.
uh
Oh, yeah,
not
it
too
picks up
far off.
another evolve. He has all the evolve effects in the world except for Thrall, and just gonna start going for something good with this unstable evolution. Going for
Ooh,
getting a burgly bully.
not exactly what we're looking for, but we got lots of
Cabal
shots
Shadow
left.
Priest is definitely
All
not what we
right.
want.
So we really want something like
Okay.
Antonidas would have been great there.
All right. A War Golem.
Okay.
Oh,
Ooh,
Alakir.
Alakir.
Okay, so Alakir. Oh, and then evolving it again after the 2 hits and
Into
getting
King
King.
Crush.
Wow.
Oh man.
Oh, and
And then
into a Sea
Sea
Giant.
Giant
That was a
and a hero
turn.
power. Wow.
Wow. Man, just like the kinds of things that Unstable Evolution can do when you have 10 mana and literally nothing else to do. And this Dirty Rat's going to get nothing out of
Nothing.
Hat's hand because all he has are more evolve effects. And a Bloodlust and a Devolve and a Jade Lightning. So no value out of the Dirty Rat, but Spidey's probably just as happy to see nothing come out, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, the thing
Oh,
he's most worried about is obviously a doppelgangster at any point is
yeah.
pretty rough.
This
Ooh.
Devolve is these Devolve and the Devolve on point from Hat today. Not the
Yeah.
Dark Fisher.
And a 5 mana 1/1.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't have asked for something
Yeah.
better than that. You actually just want to keep the Snap the Dark Fisher alive now.
Yeah. And Jade Lightning on the 2/1 just to
2/1.
try to
Oh,
protect
interesting. Okay.
the spell damage totem a little bit. There
Doesn't want
comes
to
Scourge
spend.
Lord Garrosh
Yeah, didn't
though.
want to expend a evolve there. I think you have two of them in your hand. Maybe you expend one of them to try to get
Yeah.
something a little better going on. I guess your
Maybe
totems are
he's
only
afraid
going
of
into two
Doomsayer though.
drops.
Doomsayer is a concern when you're doing too many totems, and then you'd have to spend the second evolve and you'd have very little left in your hand.
Right.
But this Scourge
This.
Lord Garrosh is
Oh
going to be a
man.
big punish.
Yeah, that weapon is pretty good. I actually think Spivey might have wanted to consider trading the Snap the Dark Fisher into the 4/4
Yeah,
before making this attack, because
yeah,
if it draws Hat an extra card, then that could just be disastrous.
yeah. So we're gonna see the corridor creeper. That is not your; those are not your eyes deceiving you. That is a 2/5 corridor creeper, because it does turn into something slightly better, though not too much
Oh,
better.
whoa.
But the Millhouse Mana
Millhouse
Storm is pretty good.
Manastorm. Okay.
And it's
And an
Demolisher and an
Ixia.
8/8, and that's gonna be it. And Hat knows he can't get through 56 armor, 56 life with just one Anix to his name. So Spivey's going to take the win
Go up to
with that taunt
2/1, right?
warrior. Yep, we are at 2-1 in favor of Spivey. So that is
So
yeah, I mean we were thinking about that warrior and why he chose to pick it, and I think that proves out that deck is pretty solid, and it was, there he was absolutely correct to want to go back to it for this matchup.
yeah, very very surprising that I'm kind of surprised that it did so well, because I guess traditionally uh Taunt Warrior does pretty well against Evolved Shaman unless they just are able to eventually stick a board.
Yeah.
So
So we're gonna see Spivey go into his version of Evolved Shaman that yesterday we saw with the Rummaging Cobalt. We'll see if he went back to that again today. And then Hat appears to be, by the look of the Dry Gulch Jailer and the Crystal Lion, is going to the Dude Paladin, which I know that you all have discussed in excruciating detail on Coin Concede.
Yeah, it's a very, very strong deck. One of the stronger paladin decks. Um Normally I would say that this Firefly is really good against it to have it this early,
Yeah,
but coining out the Knife Juggler to be able to contest right away is pretty strong as well.
yeah,
So I'd be going for a hero power. Okay.
yeah.
Um,
And then we get the unidentified Maul into hand, which is the champion Maul that will summon the 2 recruits, which will be very strong if this Knife Juggler survives the turn.
Interesting. Decides to leave up uh the Wrath of Air totem. I guess his plan was to trade into the
Yeah.
1/1. Okay.
So you see a Primal Fin and the Flame Elemental come down for Spivey, and oh, it looks like we might see this Knife Juggler and then the Righteous Protector and try to just start spewing knives all over this board and try to take some of it out.
I don't know. I
Um,
kind of like bumping Dry Whisker armor into the 1/2 and starting to play some 1/1s. You're very likely to be
yeah,
able to take out a few things here. I
yeah.
kind of like going like trade into the Flame Elemental and try to get
Oh,
this Primal
we're
Fin totem
going to
taken
Dark
taken
Conviction
care of.
on the Knife Juggler to take out the Primal Fin Totem first.
Yeah, just wants to
Interesting.
guarantee that he's able to take that
Yep.
out.
And
And
then we take out the 1/2, get the 3/1/1s into the hand. That is a scary, scary beginning of a board, though this Devolve could address it. So can the Jade Lightning.
Jade Lightning's really
Yeah.
solid here.
Spivey has a several options actually for dealing with that board, but the Jade Lightning just cleans up really nicely. It's another 1/1 down. But the other Knife Juggler going to come down for Hat, along with some of those recruits that the jailer put into his hand earlier, taking out 1/1/1 and taking
Taking
out the
out the
other
other
1/1.
1/1.
Yeah, that is a sniper of a Knife Juggler right there.
Exactly what you kind of need Knife Juggler to do in a situation like this.
Yeah.
All right, so
So
Spivey's gonna go for the thing from below, hoping that it can kind of get in the way and stop what's going on here for
yeah,
Hat.
but Hat's got all kinds of ways to put minions on this board. Gonna start with the Call to Arms with the Knife Juggler on board. Brings out an Argent Squire, a Direwolf, and a Righteous Protector. Gonna trade off some of these 1/1s, and I would imagine we're probably gonna see we're gonna see Lost in the Jungle come down here too, or no, just a single Silverhand recruit to try to clean up. Try Surprised he didn't try to trade off that try to trade off one of those totems first.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is you don't want to leave up Wrath of Air Totem,
Yeah, true.
so you would rather try to get your 33% chance to hit the right one, and then if you don't, you can make that attack in
Yeah,
because uh I mean, it's just you can't lose to a Maelstrom Portal here. You're so
yeah.
far ahead at this point.
I would imagine this has
Um
to be a devolve turn. I can't see him not using this devolve here, even though he doesn't have any way to clean up other than the flame tongue totem after this. You can't leave a board like this up.
Yeah. The thing is that even with a devolve here, unless I don't think there's a 1-drop he can get that doesn't make this tear him next turn, probably game ending.
Right. That's a lot of penguins. That is an adorable board if I've ever seen one.
Oh man, and he's gonna get unless he trades off the air totem,
Oh
he's gonna
no.
give
He's
Hat an extra
giving
card from the
Oh
Northshire
man.
Cleric. I
Yeah,
don't think it's gonna matter because
this is
I
gonna
have a
be
feeling Taram's coming down.
yeah, this will be 18 damage to
Maybe
face if Hat so chooses.
Yeah, Hap might decide that he'd rather do something like trade off. He could just trade off the board and then tear him.
Yeah, it looks like he's thinking about trading off at least getting rid of this flame tongue totem.
Can trade off the Flame Tongue totem and then put the 2/1/1s into the Healing totem
Yeah,
and
putting
then
this
tear him here would make a lot of sense.
yeah. Thinking about what he wants to do with this, gonna make this a maybe thinking about making this a 3/3 penguin, not going to do
Okay,
it. Oh, he's
so
leaving that at 1 health so that he'll get another
oh,
card.
and what a punish.
That's really smart, but this
Oh,
Maelstrom
this
portal.
Maelstrom portal is so good here. Oh
Yeah.
man,
Wow.
that might have not going for
And then
the.
unstable evolution to get that healing totem out of the way and stop it from healing itself. Really heads up play by Spivey. Ends up with an angry treasure chest. It's gonna keep rolling. Oh, and then the backroom bouncer is could be a problem because because Hat is going to have to go through this taunt, which is going to make it even stronger.
Yeah,
Um,
but we do have Vine Cleaver in hand from
yeah,
Hat. It's just going to be a solid resource generation. Still going to make this Terram really powerful.
yeah.
Um,
You are going to end up with a 6/4 coming back the other way though, which is probably not a huge big deal right now, but it is. The Saronite Chain Gang's going to get in the way too.
yeah, Chain Gang, great pickup there
Yeah,
for Spivey. Goes face for 6.
yeah,
And
and
I
I mean
think
Tarim can
we're.
help here, and you can trade off one Tarim and then trade off the other, but that backroom bouncer is going to start growing again.
Yeah, I think I like something along the lines of hit one of the Serenite Chain Gangs, use your hero power, and uh,
Yeah, and then
play
just Tarim.
Tarim.
Oh, Lost in the Jungle first instead, just to get the
Okay,
extra 1/1 on board. Makes perfect
that
sense.
also makes a lot of sense.
Then here comes Tarim. And the emote coming out from Spivey as well. And then
And
that
just
does leave him free to trade off that backroom bouncer. And that's a problem coming back. And all Spivey can do is put down a Manatide totem. Even the Bloodlust doesn't get through the taunt.
yeah, and that's the
And
crazy thing about this dude paladin deck is it kind of does some really nasty things sometimes. Like
yeah,
it goes from not having any board to all of a sudden full board again. All my creatures are
yeah,
huge, and if you don't deal with them, then
yeah.
they're gonna get stegadoned or terramed or something, and it'll just kind of end the game.
Yeah, it reminds me of Yogg Druid back in the day where you just all of a sudden you had this scary board out of nowhere and a handful of cards and your opponent's just kind of looking around see to where the card was coming from to just crash into them. Yeah, so a Primal Fin Totem, a Taunt Totem will stem a little bit of the bleeding, but the Rummaging Kobold really not going to do very much other than be a 3-mana 1/3 with no Jade Claws having been played.
Yep. And does look like it might key. Oh no, because we can just.
Yeah, we'll just chew through that taunt. That's
Yep.
21 damage or 20 damage coming back. 15, 17 coming back the other way. And then yeah, the Dark Conviction is
Dark
just enough
Convention.
to get through for exact lethal.
All right, so we're back
Yeah,
to a
all
tie
tied up
score
again.
there. I was actually looking at this matchup, definitely thinking that had actually or Spivey had a pretty good chance, but not drawing. He,
Yeah,
he unfortunately had the opposite problem that Hat had, where he had the doppelgangster but no evolves,
right.
and so
Yeah,
wasn't able to stick a board, and eventually Hat just made too many dudes.
yeah. I mean, you can tech the Shaman for this matchup. You can go with things like Volcano and Lightning Storm and Healing Rain to help yourself out, but not one Maelstrom Portal is not going to, or two copies of Maelstrom Portal and that's it, are not going to be enough to get through all of those 1/1s. So we're
Okay,
gonna go
so
back to
Hat.
the Spell Hunter again, and we're gonna go back to the Shaman again for Spivey, and we have Barnes in hand again for Hat. That didn't work out well the last time, but we're gonna give it another try.
Yeah, we'll see if we can dodge the Yasiraj from going into our opener.
Yeah. So another
Hat's just
Firefly opener.
Hat's been on fire with the Spell Hunter, just having Barnes in hand every time I've seen him play it so far.
Yeah.
So unfortunately doesn't have a secret to play on to, but I think if
Well, he does have the
oh,
explosive trap, but he chooses not to play it because he wants to get more value out of it than just hitting the Firefly.
okay. Yeah, it
Yeah.
just I'm like watching the stream, so I'm just
Oh,
like
okay. So you're a
slightly
little bit behind.
delayed.
Yeah. So he's got a second explosive trap now. Roll always Huffer, and Huffer will take out the healing totem,
All
facing
right, we
off
got
against that 1/2.
we got one more draw to dodge.
Yep.
One more draw to dodge and get this Yasiraj, and that's going to
Yeah.
be real tough for Spivey to deal with if it comes down.
Yeah, and again, like happened the last time, because this happened yesterday against against Spyvrr, and even devolve doesn't do anything. And here comes Yasharaj. Don't talk to me or my son ever again.
Or this man in front of a curtain presenting us. What you call him, like the strange man in front of the curtain or something?
I mean, I don't, but I will now.
Okay, we got a taunt totem though. That's
Yep,
gonna
we've got a
actually
flame
block a
tongue.
ton of damage,
Yep, we've got a
most
flame
likely.
tongue that
Yeah.
can at least take care of the 4/3, maybe snipe the 1/1 if we're
Snipe the
lucky.
1/1, 30.
Nope.
Oh.
And then, but we can still take out the 1/1, and this taunt is going to block the 10/9
Well,
at
it'll
least for
block
now. I
3
mean, the
damage
flanking,
because of the flanking
well,
strike,
the
I
flanking
guess.
strike, yeah, the flanking strike's gonna, and the flanking strike can't even go face. So, flanking strike is a natural way to deal with that taunt, and then there's 10 damage going straight in.
Yeah, and Hat just wants to end the game as soon as possible. He
Yeah.
knows that things like Doppelgangster Evolve are on the horizon. In
Which
fact,
Spivey could do. Spivey could doppelgangster coin evolve, and that looks like exactly what's gonna happen.
I think you probably trade off this 3/3
I
first.
think you probably do.
You just, like, if you don't hit a taunt here,
Um,
okay.
I mean,
Once his
I don't know that
maximum
you
number
want
of creatures.
a two drop, because I mean, again, uh, Doomsayers. Well, Doomsayer would probably be good actually. That's not really.
Taunt.
There's no taunts in there, and Unleash the Hound's just gonna ash right here. Yeah, yeah. And,
Man,
unlucky to
fast game.
that. Yeah. Well, and the thanks emote coming out. Yep. I mean, that's
uh,
what Barnes does sometimes.
yeah.
Barnes does Barnes things, and when Barnes decides to cooperate, that's how games go.
Yeah, I think we're all going to be excited for for Barnes to leave.
Well, most of us, not all of us. Some of us are terrible people.
I mean, I was just playing Kingsbane and Milrogue in Wild before this, so I can't say I'm much better, right?
uh,
So let's see. So Hat's leading 3-2. Still anybody's game from here. Hat does have one very strong class left, and he's kind of holding off on the shaman. He's brought it out once, but he really wants to wait on this warlock deck
yeah.
until he has all these other classes locked up.
Yeah,
I kind
or
of
if he can get the
wonder.
priest out of the way, because I mean, the priest is what he's going to be scared of with this warlock. He really does not want the priest to queue into it.
Yeah, the mage is also pretty scary too.
Yeah,
If it's a standard secret mage.
yeah. Well, we have a
And
shaman mirror for you, ladies and gentlemen, but we do have, at least we have Morgul facing up against Thrall, so we have a little bit of a variety for you. So we got an evolve shaman mirror going on. I almost slipped. I used to pronounce it the Raven way, and I trained myself to stop because I was afraid of this day coming, and I almost slipped.
I just realized that Spivey's playing this Dire Maul. I actually think that's quite a strong card here.
Yeah,
Just having that turn one board presence
yeah,
is quite good.
yeah. Especially against something like a Duke Paladin, where you're gonna have a lot of 1/1s to trade off. Having a 1/3 that can trade is pretty good, especially once you have a Flame Tongue Totem brought in. So now he's thinking about either the claws or throwing down both of the fireflies.
Yeah, I
Either one
think I
being
kind of
fair.
like double Firefly here
Yeah,
against the Shaman. It just
yeah,
gives you a board presence. You can kind of prevent them from ever getting on the board while maintaining your board presence, and then you get the choice between Mana Tide and Jade Claws next turn.
yeah. Going with the Jade Claws this turn does take Mana Tide off the table for next turn, and how it will respond with his Jade Claws take out the front half of the Firefly.
Yeah, see now
Um,
you can just Mana Tide Totem without a whole lot that Hat can do about it without something like a Maelstrom Portal.
yep. So picks up a Bloodlust. Hat draws a Firefly, which is not exactly what he needs, but it's probably not the worst thing in the world right now.
Yeah, I really wanted that on turn one.
Yeah, but being able to put 2 minions down in face of this board is probably a pretty good thing too.
Yeah, just while you're overloaded.
Yeah,
And then decides to take out the flame elemental, doesn't want it to get healed or used
yeah.
with like in combination with the flame tongue totem to take out his fireflies.
And Doppelgangsters for days in Spivey's hand right now.
Well, he already does have an evolve unlike last game, so
Yeah,
uh This hand is
Okay.
shaping up quite well for
Yeah.
Spivey, and playing the Jade Claws this turn is great because you're very unlikely to play Doppelgangster next turn because you want to save it for the
Yeah.
turn 6.
Yep, and you're not to the point where you're going to bloodlust yet either. So it makes perfect sense to overload now while you can afford to do it. Hat's gonna Hat's
Ooh,
gonna get the spell damage into this big board and then be able to clear up everything but 1 damage off of this dire mole and put out the corridor creeper.
that's exactly the swing turn Hat needed there to get in here before this Doppelgangster evolve comes out from
Yeah.
Spivey.
And then
It's
he's
gonna
got the he's got his own unstable evolution in hand, so he can go pretty far next turn if he wants to. This Maelstrom portal and the Diorama will clean up a couple of these minions, probably taking out the totem, and then the Jade Claws can take out this Flame Elemental, but that is not the concern right now.
Yeah, the concern is this corridor creeper that's likely to start getting evolved this next turn.
Yeah, so we're gonna take out the 2/1, makes perfect sense. Get the value off the attack while you can.
All right, we got a
Calamos.
7/7. Oh,
No, his
we got.
Dormu better hurry up if he's going to evolve it again. Oh no, we're leaving it. Oh wow, does that actually count from the beginning of the turn, or is that just my rope on the spectate?
Yeah,
I don't
my
know how
rope
that
on the
works.
spectate just zoomed across
Yeah.
the.
It would not be a UHL final if we didn't see at least one nose
One.
Dormu in the course of this match. So we're gonna get a Doppelgangster evolve. We're gonna
Oh
see
man, and we
Hogger,
get
a
Hogger, a
4/10, a 3/6 taunt.
4/10.
This is exactly the board that Spivey needed last game. And now we're going to really quickly kill that Hogger and
Kill
totem
the
up.
J Golem.
Wow.
Oh
We got
man, speed.
no time for love, Dr. Jones.
All right, so we got Flame Tongue Totem here, plus
And Bloodlust.
Bloodlust.
Is that enough?
Oh, and that's gonna be lethal. Real quick math there
Wow.
from Spivey.
Yeah. And good on him for being able to do that math that quickly. I need a slide rule.
That would have taken me too long. I would have tried to like do some funky things like trading off the nose Dormu to give me some time to think about it, but
Yeah.
really good job by Spivey seeing that he had lethal there.
Yep. So I would expect that, again, not having seen the priest, we're probably going to see this shaman again from RidiculousHat, again holding that warlock, and then we've got the priest and what we would presume to be a secret mage. Oh, we are going to see the
Ooh,
warlock,
okay.
and it's going to queue into the secret mage. Well, we're presuming that. Oh, it is absolutely a secret
Yeah,
mage.
it definitely looks like Secret Mage from here.
Yeah, we got
So
Yeah, we got a Medivh's Valet, Sorcerer's Apprentice, Primordial Glyph and Runes. We got a Doomsayer, a Dark Pact, and a Hellfire. So those are all cards that Hat wants early. Not sure if Spivey really wants these particular cards. Probably would rather have Mana Worms and Arcanologists and Curator Mages in his hand. He's going to toss all of it. Hat's going to throw back the
interesting.
Dark Pact and keep the other 2 cards.
Okay,
And gets
so
rewarded with a Cabal Lackey into Ice Block, followed by an Arcanologist.
yeah, this is pretty much the exact hand that you want.
Yeah,
If you're Spivey, you got early creatures to be able to pressure
yeah,
before Hat's able to do a whole lot, and then
yeah,
uh, you have some fire, some base damage for later,
yeah.
and
So this
Hat now.
Doomsayer is great for being able to test against any of the secrets. And
Yep,
now at least he
just
knows that he's free to play minions into it.
yep, and he gets to follow up with a Stonehill Defender. It looks like just
Yeah.
to kind of get a board presence going before Spivey's able to
Yeah.
really get anything.
And Tar Creeper's fantastic too. I mean, that soaks most of an explosive runes.
Okay,
Uh,
so Spivey ends up going with the Arcanologist this turn. I assume his plan is to go uh coin secret Cabal Crystal Runner next
I
turn.
would expect so, yeah. And this is a
I would
lot of
have
burn in his hand too.
I would have considered maybe just coining the Crystal Runner last turn.
Yeah.
And then you can do something like you could have done something like Arcanologist this turn.
Yeah. And we're
But
already on the burn face plan, and with 2 fireballs in hand, can't necessarily blame him. Going to take out the rest of the taunt with the ping, going face with the Medivh's Valet.
and Hat's
And
gonna try to put up another wall.
yeah. And getting the
But
minions down while he can, while there are no secrets out to get in the way. Now he's got his choice of secrets going into the turn 6. for Hat when you know that Lackey followed by Dark Pact is likely to come out, though not necessarily with this size of a hand. Playing the counter spell in, and then the Crystal Runner for the 2 mana. And Rin, the First Disciple, comes down a really good choice going into what you think might be explosive rooms, because then you get the seals in your hand right away. But turns out
Yeah,
not to be
also
that.
you just don't want to get that spellstone counterspelled. You
Yeah,
really need to
yeah.
to find something to proc it so that you can guarantee the 5 healing.
Oh my, could we see a deck of wonders? Please, Spivey, for the sake of the stream, do it. I know it's not a good choice. You should take the polymorph, but I would love to see the deck of wonders. No, but he's going to take the polymorph. That'll answer that Rin very nicely if he so chooses, which
Or
seems like
a
it
Void
might be a
Lord
good
in the
idea.
future.
Or a Void Lord in the future.
I think you don't really care too much about the seals coming out from Hat
Yeah,
here. I do
right.
wonder how he ends up trading here.
So he's
Okay,
gonna ping
so
off the Rin, and he's gonna coin out a runes, it looks like. Perfectly
yep.
reasonable. Now he's got almost a full Christmas tree of secrets for Hat to play around. Um, Looks like Hat already thinking about the Spellbreaker. Gets Hat first. Mistress of Mixtures is
Oh,
great to
Mistress.
play into an explosive runes.
Yep, basically takes no damage from that, is able to trade in the
Armor's up for
beetle,
3.
and still has a taunt minion in play.
Yeah.
Pretty
And
much
he's gonna
knows that
yeah.
it's counterspell, so he'll go ahead and
Yeah.
get rid of the smaller spellstone from his hand.
Yeah, given that all of his spells are really expensive, probably a good idea just to do it now. Even though it does leave Spivey free to play this other secret, it's going to make him test for both all over again. And he's running out of minions that he can test for that runes with safely. Is that a blast crystal potion? It is. Yeah, he
Yeah,
did play that yesterday too, right?
Hat was teching one
Oh,
in
this
yesterday.
librarian
That's gonna
though,
be a lot
that's
of
gonna punch him in the
damage.
face for 7. He's gonna
But
bump the
hopefully he can
spellstone
get,
up again.
yeah, he can spellstone back up if he needs to.
And Spellbreaker his own taunt, just to get the 4/3 down and the Mistress of Mixtures. So was there any merit to playing the Mistress first there?
Yeah, I think that is a possibility. I think it's pretty much the same either way,
Yeah.
though. Hat
Oh,
really needs something like a Dark Pact this turn.
yeah. Well, he can Spellstone his own Mistress.
Yeah,
And
that'll get him
that'll
back
give him 7
11,
plus 4 is 11. So that's a pretty
11
good.
life.
Yeah, that's a pretty good play if he
Oh,
decides to do it. And he's going
okay.
to attack first. Yep.
Make sure he attacks first.
And he is going to do that. So that'll heal him up to 15. That gets him out of range of the second Fireball and the second Frostbolt. And yeah, we're on the face plan right now for Spivey, and no reason not to. Oh,
Wants to
just pinging face.
conceal
Yeah.
wants to conceal the fact that he has 9 points of burn in his hand.
Yeah, there's no reason to throw it now because the Warlock does still have additional healing in the deck. But getting these seals out, and the seals, I mean, they do get rid of Alaneth if he can get that far, but also just providing additional minion pressure on the board.
Yep.
And it's getting to
And
the point where if Spivey can't clear this off, he's still 1 point off lethal. But this, if Hat doesn't finish this off here, that is going to be game, it looks like.
yep. And Spivey's got just enough damage to be able to end the game with this
Yeah.
Fireball and Frostbolt.
And or the
Or the
Pyroblast.
Pyroblast.
Just do the Pyroblast off the top, just entertain the viewers. I mean,
All
you
right.
got to go with it when you have it, right? So
Yep.
the Pyroblast to face brings us to 4-3 in favor of Spivey, and we are close to crowning a winner. Hat still has the Warlock, he still has the Shaman, and Spivey has that what I would presume is that Control Priest waiting for the Warlock, which has been trying to avoid all series, and it'll be interesting to see which way Hat goes. But he's going to have to get a win with that Warlock against the Priest, and the Priest is designed specifically for this matchup. So we are going to see the Priest against the Warlock, and I'll tell you, playing this deck, I love this matchup. Not these particular cards that are in Spivey's hand to start with. This is not what you want. You're looking for a pint-sized potions. You're looking for maybe a Shadow Visions. You're looking for Shadow Word Horror. You're looking for Nether Spite Historian is a card that you want. Silence is good. The Lackey in Hat's End will be good, but there are ways for this priest to deal with it. We're gonna start with the Mistress of Mixtures,
Makes sense.
and no 2 Nether Spite Historians, but no Dragon Friends for them. Let's see if well
Correct
we
turn 2 play there by
yes.
Spivey.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Spivey didn't misplay the turn 2 from the priest. So that's good.
Yeah, and there's really no reason to get out like another spite this early.
Yeah.
Like you're not really
Yeah. I mean, you
you're not
could,
really
right?
under pressure. You just kind of I feel like you want these nether spite historians to be getting you valued later.
Yeah.
You're not in any rush against a control
No.
warlock deck like
No, you have
this.
no reason to play these without getting value from them. Absolutely not. You want to get Justbreakers, you want to get Draconid Operatives. It's unfortunate that he's got 3 Dragon activated cards in his hand, and you really can't play this Twilight Acolyte without either, because that's one other way that you deal with the Void Lords is by making them to attack and then stealing them with a Potion of Madness into Shadow Word Horror or with a Cabal Shadow Priest. So he can't play out this Twilight Acolyte either. He's really just going to be a matter of whether he wants to paint something or whether he just wants to heal face, and it looks like he's just going to heal face.
Yeah, I think you just kind of hold off here. You're not under enough pressure yet. I mean,
Yeah,
3 damage coming back at you, plus 2 of it already is likely to be able to heal you.
yeah. And this Lackey will probably get answered by the silence. Well, it might get answered by the silence. Oh, that Skulking Geist is going to be huge.
Yeah, that just
Um,
takes away a bunch of
yeah,
hats available options when it comes to dark pacting things, because
yeah,
that's a lot of the way you get around a deck like Control Priest is you're able to play out your Void Lord and dark pact it right away, so
right.
that you're guaranteed to be able to get extra ones with your N'Zoth um and your Gul'dan.
Yeah, though it is worth mentioning in this matchup specifically, the Skulking Geist is actually a liability because you really need to get value out of your pint-sized potions. And getting rid of the Skulking Geist will get rid of your pint-sized potions, and that's not something you want to do right now. Potion of Madness normally is a good way to deal with this Lackey, but with the 1/4 taunt in the way really isn't going to do anything unless he wants to Potion of Madness and paint it, which is certainly a possibility. He could decide he's just going to decide he's going to take the Shadow Word Horror for later, silence the Lackey to keep Hat from getting any value out of it, and go on his way. Now the problem, well, Hat was not going to. Oh, he can't do it until next turn. But the one card you worry about more than the Void Lords in this matchup is the Rin the First Disciple, because
Yep.
if Hat can get that out on curve and kill it on his side of the board, that's one way that you can really short circuit the priest game plan, and that's pretty much the way you win as a control warlock in this match. But we finally get a dragon in Spivey's hand. He's going to go for the Nether Spite Historian value.
Ooh, not a
These
lot
are
of
not
great
really the dragons you
options.
want, but Primordial Drake's fine. It's just a big butt that you can throw in the way. Not He really doesn't want a Shadow Word Horror this board because it's going to bring out a Void Lord, and he doesn't have a way to deal with it yet. Um,
Maybe you just play a Twilight Drake here,
you
but
could just play a
then
Twilight Drake. It's gonna be a big body at least. It's not gonna get much better than 4/8, I would imagine.
and I also wonder if Hat watched Spivey's games yesterday, if he knows that Spivey is playing Control Warlock,
Yeah.
or I mean, sorry, Control
Control
Priest
Priest. Yeah.
over because I mean, this start has looked like just kind of a not a great draw from like a combo priest. So Hat might be
Yeah.
thinking that this is not the matchup that it is.
Yeah. It's oh, so going to use the Shadow Word Horror to clear that up. It's suboptimal because you'd really rather that die on your side of the board so N'Zoth and Gul'dan can't bring it back, but oh yeah, and there comes
Oh.
the Rin now that he's seen that.
Yep. Now he knows what he's playing against now that he's
Right.
seen the horror,
Yeah.
and you have to assume he's going to dark pact this Rin just so he
Yeah,
can
I would
start getting
imagine.
seals online.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much have to, even though you're not getting the healing from it. You pretty much have to do it because if Spivey is allowed to take that win, it's devastating for the Warlock. But this is going to be a big problem for Spivey right now. And
Yeah,
he
I
also proved
wonder.
last turn that he couldn't take the Void Lord, which meant that the Rim was fairly safe to play.
Yep.
Duskbreaker is going to clean up this board nicely, but that's not really the worry right now.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of still have to play it,
You have to
unfortunately.
do it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to do it, and then you probably just do that. And I mean, you could power word shield the 1/3 first to make sure it lives through. You do get the Shadow Priest a couple of turns too late.
Yep.
Would have liked to have that last turn.
So I wonder what Hat does here. Okay, so he goes for the Hellfire just to clean up the board. Has a Librarian afterwards for a small bit of board presence.
Yep, gets another Dark Pact, which will be helpful later.
And he can start lining up his seals. A lot of time with the seals, you want to just play one, and then you can go 2/2, and then destroy the deck.
Yeah, and you're wanting to do that ASAP against this priest deck. Taking another pint-sized potion. It's generally, if you don't know what to take off the Shadow Visions, that's generally fine, especially with the Cabal Shadow Priest in hand. That will help with the next Void Lord that comes down.
Yep. And
Or
the
the
Skulking
next
Geist
Rin.
is super awkward in hand because you know you can't, now that you've taken this pint-sized potion, you can't really take you can't really play it yet.
Yeah.
So you really wanted the board presence from that 4/6, but now you kind of just can't.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, that Skulking Geist is never getting played until both pint-sized potions from the deck are done. Like, you can't. It's for matchups that are not this one, basically, because you really, and this is early for a Gul'dan, but this is fine value off of it, and this is not what you want to see as the priest, because you're hoping that is a really sad Gul'dan when that comes down. This is not what you want to see. The pint-sized potion.
I think I might have looked at maybe mind controlling here, because this doesn't really change a whole lot.
It does get another bot on the board. And it'll kind of help him chew through the rest of this later. But yeah, mind control is going to be a little bit more awkward later. The rest of this board really isn't that threatening, and mind control can be kind of dangerous when you're deeper into the game, when some of these sealed demons get a little bit bigger. So yeah, I would have liked to see the mind control there too. But as long as you're taking Void Lord, that's the correct play here. Keeps the N'Zoth from getting too much more value.
Okay, so Hat's just gonna start sealing.
We're just speedrunning the seals now, and that's the right way to go right now, because you want to get the rest of this value out of Spyvy's deck. There's one of the pint-sized potions from the deck, which it's not really going to do very much here. Though a Potion of Madness may be what you want to do just to help clear some of this off, but you could trade off two of the 1/3s.
Yeah, you have to start getting aggressive if you're Spyvy, because you know that if you don't put enough pressure on him, these seals are just going to keep building up, and you're going to lose a lot of your deck. And if you lose 10 cards in your deck or something, then I mean, it doesn't really matter how much value you get by like stealing Void Lords and stuff. Hat's just gonna be able to fatigue you out, especially having the what is it called, the Siphon Life Hero power.
So it's worth mentioning, he's really close to an Alexstrasza lethal right now.
Yeah, that is true.
He's like 4 damage off of an Alexstrasza lethal, and he can get 2 of that from a Potion of Madness. So that may be what he's thinking about right now. That may have to be his win condition, because he's not going to grind out this Control Priest with the seals online. But if he can find a way to do 2 more damage, he may just be able to pull this out with an Alexstrasza. This Blast Crystal Potion is not actually going to affect the math on that all that much, though. You know, the Hellfire is. The Hellfire is going to affect the math on that a lot. And that's going to kind of take that off the table for the time being.
I like this. Hat's just making sure that he knows he already has the pressure from the seals just going off eventually. As long as he gets like 5-ish cards, you should be okay. Ooh, Obsidian Statue's a real nice pickup though.
That's gonna help a lot. Yeah. But though the Twisting Nether will deal with that, but it looks like the seals will probably, I mean, Spyvy has 13 cards left in his deck that are all going to get dealt with. Here comes the N'Zoth, which is also going to bring out another Rin, which, you know, Hat's very smartly left room in his hand for the other seal that's going to come into hand. This is a lot of pressure. Even the Obsidian Statue would help here.
Yeah, I think you just mind control that Void Lord
I
though.
think you have to. I mean, the other thing you could do is mind control the Rin and give yourself
Yeah.
more value after the ring after the Azari comes down. That might be the better play at this point.
It does feel though that it seems like that's probably too late at that
Yeah.
point, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, if you go into fatigue against the Warlock and they already have the hero power up, they're healing for 3 and doing 3 damage a turn and you're not. So
Yeah, I
you're
like this play.
we're gonna mind control the last Void Lord. There's probably I believe there's still one in the deck for Hat. Would have liked yeah, well, no, that doesn't matter. He's giving them back to him in the hand. This Doomsayer comes into the hand for Hat, but I don't think that's on the menu right now.
No, I think you've seen the mind control. I think you know, Spivey's board is kind of whittling down quite a bit. I think you
Yeah,
just probably go for more seals this turn.
yeah,
Make a Zari scary.
yeah. Put the final seal in, and then just have to get something out of the hand. Maybe the Doomsayer at this point,
I
just
think you
to
just double seal. Like
yeah. Oh,
you
that's
don't
right.
care if you burn.
That's not the final one that he
Yeah,
had. Yeah,
you don't care if you burn one
right.
card because
No, I thought that was the last one. That's why I figured you might
oh,
Doomsayer
okay.
to set it up. But yeah, no, that being the next to last one, you just get them both down.
And I
So
don't know what Spivey can do here. Um,
I guess you can play the Obsidian statue at least to get something in the way and heal.
yeah, you really need
You
you
could use
really
the
need to
Potion
be
of
able to
Madness.
set up Alex Straw as a lethal very, very soon.
Yeah, you can use the Potion of Madness at least to do some more damage to this board, or maybe he's just going. I don't know about this Alexstrasza now, because we're not close enough yet. I mean, that's going to be 8. I don't know that. Yeah, that's he thought about the Alexstrasza and
Okay.
reconsidered.
Oh no,
Um.
I think he's still going for it. He just doesn't want the bonus healing from this.
Oh, fair
Kind
enough.
of going for a Hail Mary play here.
Yeah.
Knows that if he does it this way, then Hat cannot just play Azari.
Right. Because he's gonna get hit by this board on the way back. It's a smart play. Twisting Nether will clear it up. And
I wonder if there's another method.
I mean, he does
I
have a
can't.
Dark Pack that will let him heal for 8. It's gonna keep him from playing this Azari this turn. He can play the Stonehill, and
I mean, he
can he
could
get rid of
go
the rest of
like
the board
he
though?
could like trade into these void walkers, hero power the Draconid operative, play a Stonehill, and then like
Yeah,
Dark Pact is N'Zoth. I think that play is like
yeah.
pretty safe.
Or he could play the Void Lord. Trade the N'Zoth into one of the 1/3s and Dark Pact it.
Yeah, I guess you're like pretty worried about
Silence.
well, you're worried about like second mind control, right? A lot of these lists are playing
Yeah,
second mind control.
you're gonna be
Goes
very
with
safe
the
here.
what he feels is the safe play.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
and
sets
I
up
mean,
the
there's
Doomsayer.
no
This
way
makes a lot of
there's no way a
sense.
Control Priest is bursting you down from 7. It's not happening. So
Yep.
this is very very safe. Um, and there's not really anything that Spivey can do against this. All he can really do is just heal face. There's not any minion that you want to play into this. There's no point in playing the Skulking Geist. You those pint-sized potions really aren't going to do much after the Azari comes down, but the
Yep.
Twilight Acolyte at least will answer the first Azari.
The first Azari. That's
So
a
at least
funny
you
statement.
do have 10-4 coming back the other way that you're going to make Hat answer with 7 health. I mean, Hat has answers for it, but
Yeah.
at least
I
you're
mean,
putting a threat on
just
board.
attack plus hero power is enough
Yeah.
answer for it.
But I
Now that you're
mean,
in this position, all you care about is just surviving
yeah,
because you just Spivey only has these 5 cards left. The Skulking Guys looks pretty embarrassing
yeah.
with the 2 pint-sized potions, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I mean the obsidian statue can help, but the twisting nether that's in the hand for Hat will address that. But he has to play it because that's his best hope right now.
Yep.
And it looks very pretty and golden. Um, but oh, he's even gonna address it with do you I don't know. We could do that. He does you do allow well, I guess you're gonna end up healing either way because if you twisting nether, then you're getting rid of your own mistress. So I guess either
Yeah.
way, you're gonna be healing. You're gonna be healing for 4. May as well do it while also doing 3 damage to the face
Yeah,
and
and
not
he
giving up
just
the rest of your board.
assumes that
Yeah, and there's the concede. Yeah, that is a big win for Hat, getting out of the Warlock versus Priests matchup with that control Warlock, because that is a difficult order, and he got the Rin early and was
Plus the
able to
Dark
utilize
Pact.
it. Yeah,
Needed the
and
Dark
the
Pact
Dark
to go
Pact
with
helped
it right
too.
away too.
Yeah.
And I mean, the thing is though, Hat is still definitely not out of it.
No.
Control, when you think about Control Priest versus Evolve Shaman, um, there's just a lot of extra board clears that most priest decks don't have to go against kind of such a board centric deck. So this final game is going to be another slog for Hat. He's going to have to, in order to win a game like that, he's going to have to get off a really good like Doppelgangster Evolve pretty early
Yeah.
before Spivey is able to establish anything going there.
Yeah, he's gonna need a pretty straight fire start to deal with that priest. Though it is a bit of, you do present enough threats that you're making the priest address
Mhm.
that it can be it's a better matchup than the warlock for sure. I mean, and you do have ways to deal with it. The priest does have ways to deal with the big minions that come out of the evolve.
Yeah.
We're just giving the players a second to take a quick break before we start, catch their breath after that match.
I
I can
mean,
imagine
can you blame him? That was a
I can,
marathon of a
yeah,
game, and
those,
we're coming down to the wire.
yeah,
This is game 9 of the finals of season 1. Can you
yeah.
believe that it's come down to this?
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't have it any other way. This has been a fantastic series all the way through, and we're coming down to a final game. And a reminder to stick around after the last match, because we're going to have both players on for a post match interview, and we have a special announcement to go along with that. So do stick around after the match is done. Just giving them a second to reset.
And also, I just want to say that both of these players are playing so unbelievably well.
Yeah,
I mean, we've already gone through 8 games. We're going into the 9th one. Fatigue has to be setting in a little bit for some of them. I
yeah,
mean, it's just really awesome to see this.
yeah.
And
Oh
I guess
wow,
we're
that
going into the
Skulking
game.
Geist in the opening hand for Spivey was a liability in the last game, but that is an asset against an
Yeah, I
evolved
think you
shaman.
have you probably keep.
You
Yeah,
have to
you
keep that.
definitely keep it.
I mean, getting
And
rid
the
of all the
Shadow Word
evolved
Horror.
and the unstable evolutions, that is huge to be in his opening hand.
Yeah,
So
I wonder if Hat will end up sniffing it out and go for like maybe an earlier evolve play
yeah.
um just to get some pressure going.
Well, he's taken the doppelgangster coin evolve plan off the table by cleaning out that firefly. Um
Oh, decides not to play the ooze out. It
Well,
contests both
they
of.
do run J claws, so I mean it's
Okay.
not a lot of value, but it is some value. And going right in with the Flame Tongue Totem, very
Yeah,
very
I don't
smart
blame
play.
him.
And Flame Tongue Totem does mess up this Shadowward Horror as well. A Potion of Madness, Mind Control, and Pint Size Potion. I actually like that Potion of Madness on turn 5. Yeah, to take the Flame Tongue Totem over to your side and then be able to Shadow Horror with that. It does mean you're taking more damage this way. And
It
and
is
he
interesting
decided to
though, because
farm
wouldn't pint size do the same thing?
it out. Pint Size would do the same thing, but Potion of
Oh,
Madness
and
is,
that's a
oh
dust breaker
wow.
off the top.
Yeah, that is really really good timing. It does pump up the quarter creeper, but that is not as much of a concern now as it would have been a month ago. Because he can handle this 2/5 well enough. Though we could play the quarter creeper and immediately evolve it, which, he doesn't know that Skulking Geist is in hand. It actually is going to turn out to be a really good play had he chosen to do that, but not really can't blame him for not.
Yeah, and this
Um,
potion of madness is looking like a really good
yeah,
really good
yeah.
pickup here.
Yeah, I mean the Potion of Madness against this deck specifically is going to be more valuable over the long term than the Pint Size Potion is. The Unstable Evolution against the 0 mana Carter Creeper though, or the 2 mana Thing from Below,
Maybe both.
or maybe both. Why
Get two
why
eight
not
drops seems
both?
pretty good.
Why not Zoidberg?
Okay. Decides not to. Okay.
Yeah, and good on him for getting that up.
Oh
Wow.
wow.
Oh,
Anomalous is strong if in terms of the amount of power that it gives you, but obviously if it's able to be dealt with, that's going to be a full board clear.
Yeah, but Spivey doesn't have an answer for it. He could Cabal Shadow Priest the 2/1 and trade that in and start whittling down this Tar Lord. But he doesn't really have a good way to deal with this. Probably, I don't think we've seen a Shadow Word Death from him.
No,
And
I
no
don't think
Twilight
we've seen
Acolyte
one
in
all
the hand.
game. And
He
that's
really
actually
doesn't.
just a ton of damage. Does Hat just have lethal next turn?
Well, that's going to be a 1/11 next turn. With
Yeah,
with the
but he has a
Bloodlust
in hand, so
Yeah,
that's
that could be
5, 11.
So 11 and 15. If it will be if he doesn't heal and or Cabal Shadow Priest this 2/1. That would be lethal. I don't know if Spivey's thinking about that. I would imagine the Bloodlust has to be on his mind.
Yeah.
He's running out of time to make some sort of a decision, though. This is a tough turn. And
what does he go with? Maybe he just plays the Skulking Geist to get rid of any Evolve shenanigans.
And that's going to get rid of the Evolve shenanigans,
man.
but it's not going to get rid of the Bloodlust. I think that's gonna count it out. Not too long, and that's gonna be it. Wow!
What an end!
Wow! What a finish!
I was not expecting that when I saw how Spivey's opening turns laid out. I was not expecting that, but that evolve was really good for Hat there.
Yeah.
You know, getting the 8 power minion was really strong. And just what an end! I was actually just speechless at the end there. I could not believe that was the end to what just like a crazy series there.
What a way to end it, though. I mean, absolutely. I mean, hard fought battle for both. I mean, no punches pulled, and that ending with the last 2 games, really, with the Warlock being able to take over the Priest, and then that ending with the Bloodlust math for the exact lethal against the Priest with Skulking Geist in hand for the entire game. I mean, that's why, that matchup can be a problem for the Priest, because sometimes they just get you. And
sometimes the evolve just comes out a turn or two too early, and there's just nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, and Corridor Creeper being the savior after at the end of this month, where it's been the GOAT, is really a fun way to end that. I mean, fun for us as casters, maybe not so much fun for Spivey, unfortunately. But I think that both players really need to be proud of how they played throughout that match. That was a really, really well played match, and it was fantastic and an honor to be able to cast that, because that was just a slugfest all the way to the beginning to the game 9, and absolutely well played all the way through.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna try to get Hat and Spivey in here. Let me try to add them.
Yep. So if you can stick around for a minute, we're going to have an interview with both players, and a special announcement at the end of that as well. We're getting both of them in right now.
Spivey.
What up, boys?
Hey,
Hat here too.
It's ringing for him right now.
I just see a frog with a hat on it pulsating.
Man, what a series!
Oh, wow!
I think one of my favorite things that you guys weren't aware of was Hat and I were talking almost the entire time.
Oh no!
Yep.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
Oh my!
Well, every single time we play, it comes down to this insane, like, full game match set, and there were some pretty crazy swings throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, I mean, we were just like that whole last game. I think both of us, if we weren't talking the whole time, would have been sitting here with our mouths open.
That was basically me.
We were just looking at Spivey's opening hand, and we're like, "Oh man, he has the Skulking Geist and a Shadow Word Horror to clean up early, and then the draw of that Dustbreaker was so big."
Oh, that was clutch.
And
I worked so hard to hide Geist from Hat last time for the entire game, and I was like, "Well, I'm not playing it now because I'll just snag his Unstable Evolutions or his evolves."
Yeah, I mean, it would have been suicide for you to play that Geist in the Warlock matchup anyway, because it would have killed your pint-sized potions and taken away most of your win condition. But
I was very careful about when I wanted to play the Geist, because Red Knight and I worked on this list again this morning, and we knew that we wanted to run Geist, but we had to be careful about it.
Yeah, you basically never play it until you've seen both pint-sized potions played from the deck, and then you can safely play it. But against the Warlock, where you need those minions, but that was just, some of those games just did not go according to plan, which is the way you play the games. And really, really well played by both of you up until the last play. And I just want to say I'm really impressed on your ability to do math that quickly, because I would have needed like paper and pencil for that bloodlust math at the end of that.
No, that was Spyvrr. Spyvrr just knew right away, had the math for the Norse Dormu.
Oh
just instantly.
That too.
I was like Dormu.
I was like looking at the.
I had to prep at that math. As soon as I saw the Nozdormu come down, I'm counting my damage, and I'm like, okay, is bloodless lethal? Yes, it is. So my turn started, and I double checked again, and I'm like, yep, definitely lethal. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean that Nozdormu, we said it would not be a UH final if we didn't see a Nozdormu at some point. And
I saw that evolve, and I had to stop. I'm like, this is staying. We're gonna do this. I don't care.
I mean, it just plays to your strengths, right, Hat? You already play it. You already only take like 15 seconds.
I basically assume Nozdormu was in play all the time whenever I play my matches, so now it's just official.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Hat. Yeah. Like, what was your takeaway? What, like, when you saw the cards coming out from Spyvr's deck, what were you thinking? Did you already have an idea of kind of what he was going to be bringing for all his classes? Did anything surprise you?
I had no idea, but I knew it wouldn't be. So the thing about a class like Rogue, and I think Chris and Spyvrr both did the right thing here, you can't bring the conventional mid decks because there's Kingsbane, and that's pretty much it. And that's not going to win a UHL match unless you get really lucky with matchups. So I think Miracle was a smart choice, especially with me having some slower classes in my lineup. And Miracle Rogue is actually not terrible against Dude Paladin if you get the right draw as well. So I think he made the right call by bringing that, and I was really sad to lose to it in game 2, but I was really happy to see Rogue doing roguey things. So it was a lot of like conflicting internal emotions.
Yeah. You were sad for you, but you were happy for Vera.
Yeah. Exactly. And once he kept shadow stepping. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I was digging for that Leroy for the end. I just need it. I just need the Leroy.
Yeah. Well, and I had to get really lucky with that Cthulhu because I was doing the math. I'm like, I have a Dark Arakoa mind control tech turn, but he's going to go Sap Eviscerate and kill me anyways. So I just got to go for it right now.
Yeah, we were questioning it at first, and then it's like, well, only 1 out of 4 of every shot needs to hit face, so you may as well just take the shot because Cthulhu may never get another chance to win a game. And Cthulhu is not often lethal as much as people think that it is, so...
Yeah, I mean, there was a chance of me just softening up the board and getting killed, but I think the chance of me getting killed if I play a single taunter is 100%. Because he had a gadget and a ton of spells in hand, and Sap Evis in the bottom 5 cards of the deck is pretty likely.
Yeah, and his opening hand was like a 4-0 cost spells from the very beginning and a Faldoroi Strider. And we were looking at that, like, as soon as he draws a Gadgets and Auctioneer, things are going to get lit, and that was clearly the case. The other thing I wanted to ask you is, at what point did you know that you were playing against the Control Priest as the Warlock, and when did that start, like, changing your strategy from there?
It was the turn 5 Netherspite Historian, or the turn 6. Because when the first play of the game was turn 5 Shadow Visions, I'm like, this has got to be a Big Priest. There's no way it's not Big Priest. And then he goes Netherspite Historian, I was like, this is weird. And then he plays Power Word Shield, and I started thinking, do I have to play around the combo? And then he pint Cabaled my Void Lord. I was like, I don't have to play around the other combo, but I should have played around that combo. And but then I was already, when I saw Big Priest, I was all about Rin. And then when I saw Dragons, I'm like, okay, I don't need to Rin. And then I saw the Cabal Shadow Priest, like, back to plan A, back to Rin. And I just had to make sure that I set up a board where I wasn't going to die to what he had in hand. And then when I saw him pointing in my face, I'm like, you got fucking Alex. That's what he did. So I needed, like, I calculated so many times, there any way that I can live, but if I played like Stonehill Defender, I die, or Shadow Word Pain or anything like that, even with life gain. So I had to do this safe play of Nether Doomsayer. And while I was roping that turn, he messaged me and says, I'm getting another draw.
So Spivey, I wanted to ask you. I'm looking at the pick order for this, and I kind of wanted to know what your strategy was, picking warrior instead of leaving another warrior mirror at the end and letting it be a
I'm
shaman
really
mirror.
glad you asked. So that was actually kind of like some next level thinking on my part, because Shaman's an RNG fiesta, and I know that even between in hats and my hands, warrior, it can be formidable in a tournament setting. So I figured I wanted to take the warrior and force us both to have to get the RNG with shaman.
It was really close to working out for you too. It looked like Hat was really struggling to get a win with that shaman towards the end there.
Yeah, my
Well,
strategy
the RNG
typically
kind of
became,
worked out, right?
block out shaman.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like that warrior was also a great choice, knowing that your opponent has to have shaman. Because I'll tell you, playing that shaman deck against Spivey's taunt warrior did not feel great. When he was at 56 life with a weapon that kills all my shit for free.
It was a pretty good matchup for me.
Yeah. Well, when that dry whisker armor came down, like, all right, well, I just should start planning for the next game, but let's just keep playing this one.
Yeah,
I mean,
But
you
I
put
thought
on a show
Control
at
Reef
some
was going to
point,
be a
right?
worse matchup.
Yeah.
It turns out Bloodlust is really good at doing like 20 to 30 damage, but not so much 50 damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially when you really don't have any. I mean, you can Jade Lightning, but that's kind of like tickling at that point, and you don't really have any other way to get like big burst damage without, like, I mean, you did get Alakir in the King Crush at one point.
Oh, that
Yes.
was gorgeous.
Yet somehow nowhere near good enough. Like, that was enough to clear one Primordial Drake.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we have any more questions. Maybe we want to bring Ferris in here for a bit of an announcement to congratulate our winner of Season 1 of the UHL.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, so first and foremost, congratulations to you both for making it this far. I couldn't have asked for anything more. I'm sure the fans couldn't have asked for anything more, going all the way to the final game. So again, congratulations to you both on a successful season.
Thank you. Congratulations, Hat.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, so what I want to do is I want to take the time. I know I spoke to both Spivey and Hat this morning in regards to just giving you guys a little bit of a trophy, I guess you would call it in this case. So Spivey, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and give you 7 packs for, you can either keep them yourself or give them to somebody in your community as a thank you for following you out through the season and just showing you love and throughout the season. So that's what we're going to do for you, Spivey. And then for Hat, since you were able to go ahead and win the whole thing, we're going to go ahead and give you 15 packs to do whatever you would like to with. You can keep them yourself, give them to somebody in the Coin Casino community or anybody else that you like. But it's just my gift to you guys for participating and making this first season of United Hearthstone League as great as it was. So I thank you both.
Thanks, dude.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll definitely be looking for someone to be a recipient of those packs in the honor of UHL.
Oh yeah, there's no way we're keeping these packs.
Yeah. No.
Okay, well, I mean, thank you very much again. I don't have anything else for you guys. Again, it was a great final, and I guess we'll see everybody for Season 2. Do we have anything else we want to go ahead and talk about before we sign off here?
Yeah, I want to give mad props to Ferris Biscuit for doing all the heavy lifting himself and putting together this amazing league. Season 1 was very successful, and I'm really excited for Season 2, and it couldn't happen without you, Ferris, so thank you for everything you did.
Yeah, thank you, Ferris.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure to be able to be a part of these finals here. You've done a really great thing. I'm really excited for just how much this helps build the community and just bring all of this positivity together. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, you can see just how, I mean, you don't see if you're not part of this, like how much work Ferris is doing behind the scenes, and you only see his face once a week when he's popping up to do a recap, but he's doing so much work with coordinating and getting these finals set up and setting up a stream, really quickly and getting it up to the caliber that you'd expect from a league like this, and really just so much work that you don't see that really needs to be appreciated, because without Ferris, none of this would have been possible. So,
Yep, I'd like to echo those sentiments and just say that, as always, Ferris is already legend in our eyes. So,
yeah.
Well, thank you guys. I greatly appreciate that, and I'm really looking forward to season 2. So everybody stay tuned because we will have a lot of updates in the coming weeks.
All right, so I guess we'll say goodbye to both of you. I mean, any final words from either Spyvrr or Hat? Anyone else want to thank? Spyvrr, anyone you wanted to say thank you to before you sign off? Or
I just
I'd
want
like
to
to
say
thank-
thank you. Oh,
You go ahead, Spivey.
I'm always first. I'm always first. I'd like to thank anybody who used my Spivey hashtag. I appreciate your support, and then we'll get there next season.
and how about you?
I'd like to thank Barnes. Barnes really was there for me. Yasharaj, you had your moment, you had your chance in game 1, you redeemed yourself, but Barnes, you helped me against both hosts of 1600 Dust, so thank you so much for 10-10s on turn 3.
And with that, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks everybody for coming out.
Yeah.
We'll catch you guys later for some season 2.
Yep.
Thank
Thank you everybody for watching. On behalf of everybody here at UHL and for Bodicus, I'm Wicked Good. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you next season. Have a great day.
Yay.